Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another Deadlock video. My name is October, and today I'm going to be making a tier list. I'm going out of my comfort zone. So listen, I have some opinions about a lot of these characters that I'd like to get out there, and even though I'm not the highest ranked player, I think that it's still fun to talk about these things from time to time. However, before we get to ranking any characters, here's a quick word from my legal team. Takes in this video are opinions of October_DL, an Oracle 3 player who doesn't know absolutely everything about the game, and also hasn't played every single character at the highest level, or any character at that level in fact. Despite this, he would still like to share his opinions and get some thoughts out about many characters and their current strength. Remember, these are opinions, not to be taken as objective fact. Also, if you find yourself enjoying this video at any point, please consider liking and subscribing. Okay, thank you, legal team, for getting that out there, because I'm sure there are going to be plenty of you in the comments that are saying all sorts of nice things about this if you happen to find this video. So, I would also like to make a final disclaimer before we move forward that this is for mid-elo. So in actuality, you can play any of these characters in mid-elo, but I still think there are characters that are of different strengths. Just because you can play all of them in mid-elo, they're all viable at my elo does not mean that I think they're all as strong as the other. So without further ado, let's jump into the list, starting with Abrams. Abrams was a character that, if you asked me this about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would put him like down here, or like low B tier. But now, I think that Abrams has gone back up into A tier. I think that a lot of the Abramses in mid-elo do not understand how to play this character now, because a lot of them, myself included, are just completely carried by when he's broken and the shoulder charge one-shot slop that he has. But I think he's pretty good. I think he's very tanky. But the Abrams players in this elo, I don't know, man. They seem to really struggle. Apollo. This character is going into S tier for me. I haven't been seeing as much Apollo dominating my games recently, but I think that's because that a lot of people have wisened up to a trend that we're going to come up to later. But I think of all the spirit carries in the game, Apollo is one of 2 that is very, very strong and is definitely playable. He's also banned a lot in this elo because people are just tired of playing against him. I mean, Apollo was in literally all of my games like 2 or 3 weeks ago, all of them, and he was almost always a top farm character. The laning is so fucking annoying that people are just tired of playing against it. Okay, now you've seen it, right? Everybody knows. Bebop. Traditionally a character that's like down here in this area. Well, he's up here. I think he's better than Abrams. I'm gonna be honest, man. Whoever in their right mind thought it was a good idea to have Bebop's hook cooldown reset to 0 after you uppercut a hero needs to be had a nice conversation with. We'll say that much. It's one of the most absurdly stupid broken things I've ever seen, considering how strong Hook actually is. And with Gunbot being a thing now, and the fact that he has like 5,000 HP, I think he's broken. Like, actually, not like S tier broken, but he invalidates a lot of characters that are not above and around him on the tier list, and we'll get to some of those examples later. I mean, think about getting hooked, though, on a character like Vindicta or Grey Talon. Like, 1 hook probably kills you, but if 1 hook doesn't kill you, 2 hooks definitely will, in every instance, pretty much. And I think that sort of volatility is not something that I enjoy seeing. Remove that, and he can keep the gun stuff, and everything else is probably fine. Okay, Billy. I do not see a lot of good Billy players in my elo. I will just say it. Of all the tank characters to play, there are some other ones that people are going to be playing instead as we get further down this list. But I still think Billy's good. I think Billy is he better than Abrams? I don't know. I think Abrams is easier to play, so I'll say Billy is below Abrams. Calico. Calico is a character that I see in my games, and she still has some impact. You know, you're not getting as punished. You can snowball very hard in mid-elo with Calico, and if you're a Calico specialist, people probably have a really bad time. I just don't think she's got as much BS as she did when she was buffed pretty hard. So for that, she's going into B, which I think is probably balanced, because I just haven't seen a lot of her. Celeste. Celeste is a character that has basically disappeared in all of the mid-elo games. Yeah, I knew it. Once this character lost all of her broken, overtuned garbage, people in my elo were not going to be able to play her. However, I still think she's good. I think she is very good in the right hands, but the kind of movement skills required to maximize her kit, you just do not see in this elo. And a lot of people were conditioned to play her just like doing whatever you want because of when she was broken. And because of that, you just don't really see her carrying a lot of games. And I also think that the whole high HP problem that we have so far, everybody builds Spirit Resist. It just makes her a little bit weaker. But I don't think she actually needs buffs. I think that whenever they probably nerf gun items and nerf Spirit Resist, that she'll be right back up the top. In fact, A tier is probably a good place for her to be honest with you. Let's just rip this band-aid off. I don't want to hear any player of any elo sit here and tell me that us banning Doorman and Phantom Plus and Infernus and probably below as well, that banning Doorman is a throw. Hero bans are meant to cater the experience to what you want as a player. This is not pro play. There's no competitive or ranked mode. I'm not banning people necessarily based on like, oh, what's the strongest? So in this instance, what's the most annoying thing in the history of this game to play against? Well, I think it's this guy and the kidnap build. Is he broken? No. I do not think that he is like actually broken, but it is more tilting than Bebop Hook, more tilting than Echo Shard Bunny, like some other BS. More tilting than getting Ivy Stoneformed over and over. It's more tilting than like anything else in this game that I have played against. The only time it's tolerable is if you are already a tank character and the person is just throwing you into the walker and you're living anyways because you have 5,000 HP. Horrible. The ult is annoying to play against, but not broken. But the kidnap stuff, the doors not having any duration on them when you place the first one, and having an insane range, the way that most people play him, and everybody plays him in my elo that way, it's just so miserable. One of the worst versions of a character I think this game has ever had, and we've had some horrid characters in the past in the way they were designed. Drifter. Drifter's in B for me in this elo. I think Drifter struggles a lot if you do not snowball, but if you do snowball, he is an unkillable monster in these elos. However, that's kind of just what this tier is going to be, is if you snowball, which you can because you're in mid elo and you're not going to get as punished for it as you would in higher elos, you can wreck a game on him. And I think that Drifter really probably shouldn't be buffed. I think we should see what other changes we can make to the meta first and see where he ends up being after that. I just think that he doesn't have everything that an assassin character wants, and I just think that assassin characters also aren't very strong right now, in my humble opinion. Okay, next. I think that Dynamo has an argument to be the best character in the game. I think there is only 2 characters that we can make that argument for, and he is definitely one of them. I think that Dynamo as a character in this current state just has way too much. I don't understand why all of his abilities do what they do plus more. Like, why does Entanglement not only make you invulnerable, it's team-wide, it restores a charge, and it cleanses, and it's team-wide if you're in the right area. His 3 is not bad. I mean, probably the worst part of his kit, but that's not saying a lot considering how broken the other parts of it are. Quantum Entanglement is obviously a broken ult, and as long as Refresher is in this video game, it is going to be even stronger. This character has everything. The Stomp does 900 damage in the mid-game, and you get like 5 charges of it. In lane, it's really strong. Yeah, I get it. Double jump over it. Whatever, dude. I don't care. I think that he is absurdly broken. He is one of the only characters in this game that can just literally flip a game on its head like that in an instant. So yeah, Dynamo, S tier, probably the best character in this elo, I would say. We'll get to the other character who I think has a claim to be the best character in the game, but I don't think that people at this elo maximize his output. And on Dynamo, you don't have to maximize his output. Graves. I think Graves is B tier. I don't think that Graves has scared me a lot recently. Like, I don't play against a Graves that I'm like, oh, this is scary. Mostly inoffensive, obviously not as weak as in high elo because people don't play around your M1 range. People are also worse at looking at the map, so you're going to get more value off of your macro control that you have with her ultimate. I think that Grasping Hands is not one of the most obnoxious abilities in the game, but it's kind of all she has, so I can't be too mad. But I don't really think there's much else to say. Kind of clunky, a little weak, still definitely playable in these ranks, and you're not going to get punished as hard in 1v1s against M1 characters because people can't aim as good. You can watch many clips of me dying to graves while I'm playing like Vindicta. So, Grey Talon. Where is Grey Talon, do I think? I think Grey Talon's better than Graves, but is in B tier. Grey Talon, I think, is perfectly fine as they are now. The ultimate is still pretty good. Just being a spirit character in this meta is just not very good. The sustain slop, the spirit resist slop that everybody's building makes it a little bit harder for Grey Talon. I don't think you should buff Grey Talon. I think you should nerf the other stuff, personally. So we'll leave Grey Talon as is. I think Grey Talon is fun, even though simple, but feels very dated compared to some of the newer characters we've gotten. Haze is going in A tier for me. She's never going to be bad outside of top elo unless her numbers are just terrible. You don't get punished as hard for side farming and farming jungle. It's a lot easier to get picks on her. People don't counter build as early or as often. They don't build as many green items, things like that. Like I said, positional mistakes. You're going to get a lot of value on Haze. And Haze still carries a lot of lobbies in mid elo. Low elo, the character basically runs the game even though she's in a nerf state. What do I do with Holliday? I don't see a lot of Holliday. Holliday is obnoxious to like play against, but Holliday is also not very strong, I don't think. Do I put her in C tier? I'm putting her in C tier. You can, like I said, mid elo, every character is viable. You can play Holliday just fine in this elo, but you're gonna have to work harder than some of these other characters up here, and I think that's the big difference. Not that you can't win with Holliday, but you're gonna have to work harder than some of these other characters up here. She's scary at times, but otherwise I think that she's pretty just mediocre. I wouldn't say honest. I think she's got a lot of movement slop with some of her stuff. Just has so many charges on her barrels, but a lot of people are building gun Holliday now because when you have bad spirit, just build gun instead and it works. Infernus is an S tier character. The dash build is insane. It's broken. It's annoying. Dispel magic slop. I think he's better than Apollo probably. I just don't know what else to really say about Infernus. Get rid of this many charges on the dash if you're going to give him charges. It's insane, man. Ivy is broken in this elo. I don't care what anybody says. She's an all-rounder. Her ultimate is broken. Her gun is very strong, and you build gun items in mid-elo all the time. I don't care. She's not on the same level as some of these other characters, but she will just destroy you if she gets ahead. Now, she's not going to get ahead as often, but I think that Ivy is broken, man. So obnoxious to play against. 4 stamina, stone form, the ultimate. God, it's so annoying. She is getting up there as one of the characters that I do not like playing against. I think you get a lot for free on this character. Okay, Kelvin. I think Kelvin's an A tier. Is he below Bebop? I don't know. I think Kelvin is very, very strong. I will put him above Bebop, but I don't think Kelvin is like S tier strong compared to some of these characters. Ivy might be controversial for a lot of people. That's just a personal thing for me. I think that the value you get in mid-elo on Ivy is crazy. I think the value you get in mid-elo on Kelvin isn't as crazy because you're just not maximizing his support capabilities to the best of your potential. I think the ultimate is still pretty good when it's fully upgraded. I think the nades are very good. The slow is very good and annoying. He's got so much health. Yeah, Kelvin is definitely playable and very strong. One of the strongest supports in the game. Lady Geist. Is this going to be controversial? Yeah, we're putting her in A. So the reason why I had Lady Geist down in B, right, is that people just, if you've played in mid-elo, right, you'll understand people with precision weapons, semi-automatic weapons, are just not very good. Geist gun is that, and you are building gun on Geist. Obviously, you've got like the suck and stuff like that. The ultimate is still BS, and if we were doing an ult tier list, it would be like up here. But I think that Lady Geist is a character that people in this elo just are not able to maximize. I can't tell you the last time I played against a Geist that like hard carried a game. And I can tell you the last time I played against all of these characters that hard carried a game, I believe. Like I said, mid-elo tier list, not maximizing what Geist is capable of. Lash, he's up here somewhere. Is he better than Bebop? Probably not. Better than Abrams? Maybe not. I think this is accurate. I think Lash is very good. The ultimate is always going to be good in mid-elo. You're not going to hit the counterspell as often. You're going to position more grouped together, get punished by it more. It sucks that that Spirit is a little bit weaker, but you can build some gun items on Lash because his gun is very good. And because of that, I think that makes him a little bit stronger than some of these other Spirit characters that are further down here. Like I said, ultimate broken, especially at this elo, because people are going to miss the counterspell window. And if you're a Lash who just times it a little bit better, like delays it a little bit, everybody is going to waste their counterspell and then you're going to hit them anyways. So good character, definitely carry potential. Not the best though. Mcginnis sucks. I don't care what elo you're in. I don't even know if this character in Initiate is good. If I ever look at the scoreboard and I see the enemy team has a Mcginnis as their highest farm, it is basically an indicator to me that we're going to win the game. Just straight up. Mcginnis is awful since they nerfed her ultimate. The turrets are just obnoxious, but not really that good. Mcginnis she's just a bad gun character if you were to build gun. And like I said, the turret build is AFK. Who wants to do that? Mcginnis is like to just set up on side lanes and build their little Alamo and eat all the farm for carry characters and end up just not contributing to any team fights or anything like that. And it ends up helping the other team win. And even though they don't think it would, they think, oh, I'm protecting a walker, I'm stopping an item slot. Well, you're not doing anything else. You're just eating up farm for carries and you really shouldn't be taking it. Sorry, Mcginnis, you deserve better, but rework needed, I think. Mina's an S tier. This character, I think better than Apollo. This character has quickly moved up onto my most hated characters in Deadlock list. And I might actually make a video on that at some point where I just talk about that a little bit. I just think Mina has does so much damage. And while I haven't played her a lot, I can't imagine it would take me a super long time to learn her, just being brutally honest. I think that a lot of you Mina players are a little carried. I'm gonna be for real. You're one of the only, I mean, having a Spirit carry is nice, but you're one of 2 Spirit carries in S tier. I think she's broken, man. Like, actually broken. In mid-elo, she is one of the better carry characters you can play, in my personal opinion, because you don't have to take as many risks on her. You do an absurd amount of damage. The ultimate is broken. Escape tool is amazing. I have nothing more to say. Here we go. We all knew this was coming. Mirage is the other character that I think takes the cake for the best character in the game. Now, like I said, you can argue between these two. I think it's a 1A, 1B kind of situation, depending on who you ask. I'm going to have Mirage personally in 1B because in mid-elo, people just do not maximize what he's capable of. And despite the fact that they're not maximizing what he's capable of, he's still a menace to play against. Like, laning against these two characters, Mirage and Mina, is like eating glass. And I've done it before multiple times. Miserable time. I think that he's just way overtuned. There's so many things like Dust Devil being able to be recast with Echo Shard, having 4 of them. Oh my gosh, just don't even go. That's probably the most broken thing on him in this elo, but I mean, Scarabs is so strong, Jin's Mark is so strong, Traveler is so strong. Every part of his kit is absurdly broken, and he's obnoxious. Nerf, please. Thank you. Mo and Krill. I think Mo and Krill's like here, man. Mo and Krill's good. And mid-elo especially, Mo and Krill is good because people are not exploiting your weaknesses as much. Low skill character. Trust me, I know I play them. Low skill character. But Mo and Krill is kind of a necessary evil in this meta to stop some of these giga tanks that we're going to get to further down the line. He's also able to just lock down a carry, actually punish his positioning. I think that he's a necessary evil. Pretty balanced right now. I don't think you need to nerf him. I think that he'll become weaker when things shift away from this like tank meta where you basically just have to CC somebody like 15 times to kill them. Yeah, moving on from that. Like I said, low skill, anybody can play him. I think Moankrill's good. Paige, I think Paige is like top of B tier. Paige is a lot better in mid-elo than in higher elo, I would say. But I don't think that Paige just doesn't do everything that I want all the supports to do, but she's very popular. She might even be down here. We'll just put her top of B for now, though. I don't want A tier to be like super cluttered. You can go back to where I had you, please. I don't want A tier to be super cluttered, but I think Paige is probably appropriate strength somewhere in this area. Like, I think if we're aiming for character strength, like ideal character strength, if every character in Deadlock was around a certain part of this tier list strength, I think it would be
probably like mid of A down to like top half of B is where you'd want everybody to be. Now, like I said, this is mid elo, so this is not like entirely accurate at the top. You can see with like Ivy being higher, that's probably not accurate at the top of the game. But I think that Paige is pretty good, but not as amazing as the characters above her. Paradox. People just suck with Paradox in this elo, man. I think she's like worse than Graves in this elo. Like good, viable, definitely playable. If you play a good Paradox, you will have a good time, but I think all the good Paradox players are higher elo. So every Paradox I've played against, the amount of ones that annoyed me have been next to none, IMO. But I think Paradox is probably fine where she is right now. And like I said, mid-elo, Paradox has never really been an amazing mid-elo character. It's always been a top-elo thing. Okay, Pocket. They're interesting. They're a character that is... I have no idea. Like, I thought that Pocket was broken when they originally got buffed several weeks ago. Some of those changes were toned back a little bit, I believe. I just think Pocket's good, especially Glock it now. Like, using the gun build Pocket is pretty insane. Higher than Celeste? Yeah, I think so. I think we'll go somewhere in this area. Weaker than Mo and Krill, though. Do I think that's true? No. I think Billy's better than Mo and Krill as well. Move that over somewhere in this area. It's not going to be perfect. I think that they are in a pretty good spot right now. No buffs needed, no nerfs needed. Kind of just chill. Some of these other characters need to be reined in instead. Rim is one of the most popular characters in mid-elo and low-elo. It's understandable. Cute little, like, owl guy who goes around with minions and eats all the centers. People in mid-elo play Gun Rim, and those people need to go in Doorman tier because that is cheeks. Don't do that. You're throwing the game. I don't care if you have 71,000 farm and 10 kills. You're probably going to have 19 deaths because the character just doesn't have enough health. If I had to actually rank Rem, I think Rem in mid-elo is good, man. Like, at the top of the game, Rem is not good because you don't want Rem to eat all your souls, and sinners don't get left on the map for very long. We'll put Rem, like, up here towards the top of B. I think that's probably appropriate for Rem. Ultimate's very good as well. Pillow Toss is fine as lane pressure, especially. The heal tag-along is pretty good in this elo as well, because not everybody buys heal ban. So, yeah, we'll leave him there. 7, I think, is... Do I put 7 in S tier? I think 7 is really good. I think 7 is really good in mid-elo. Like, one of the best mid-elo characters you can play. We'll put 7... We'll put 7 above Mina. We'll put 7 in S tier. Like I said, remember, you're not going to get as punished. You're very versatile. Just a good all-rounder. Good spirit damage, good gun damage. Really strong ult if you build it, but otherwise pretty terrible. The stun on the 2 is broken, of course. I think 7's good. Good carry hero for you. In mid-elo especially, you can climb real easy on 7. So I think that's probably all to say about him. Shiv. I think Shiv is like the 3rd best character in the game, honestly. The Shiv's knives are just insane. Shiv's tankiness is just insane. I don't know what to say really else. It's obnoxious. Please be nerfed. Please. Every time Shiv receives like a micro nerf, everybody thinks he's C tier and nobody plays him anymore. And then you let it sit for a while and all of a sudden Shiv is now currently perma S tier again. Cool. The knives are really annoying. Moving on. Silver is S tier. Where do I put Silver in mid-elo? Probably below Mina and Dash Infernus, because I think these are characters that you have to be a little bit good at to get good value on. We're going to move Mina or Ivy down to A tier, by the way, top of A tier. You have to be kind of like decent at these characters, where I think that like most people can just play all these characters pretty easily. Maybe not Shiv, but Shiv is so strong that it's an outlier in that case. I think Silver is really, really good. And if you have a decent Silver player, they can take over the lobby super easily. Insane health, insane damage, good laning. I don't really know what else to say. Sinclair is the most definition of I don't know what to do with this character on the list. The only thing that scares me on this character is Echo Shard Bunny, and that's kind of it. Which, if that's all that's scaring me, we're in pretty good shape with the characters. I'm putting Sinclair in C tier. You can definitely play Sinclair in this elo and get good value. Yeah, Venator is broken as well. I think Venator is going in S tier. Above 7. Actually, I think above silver as well. These are the characters outside of maybe Dynamo. I think you have to be kind of decent at Dynamo. I think these 5 characters right here, basically anybody can play them in this elo and you're going to get crazy value. Venator is just so good, so much damage. Pretty easy, simple kit. You don't have to make meaningful choices with your build because you just build gun items and gun items are broken. Guns and greens, baby. That's all you need on him. Yeah, Victor. Victor in mid-elo is like somewhere in A tier, I think. Victor in mid-elo is somewhere in A tier. Where do I put Victor? Below Lash for sure. Below Pocket, probably. Below Billy, probably. Below Mo and Krill and Celeste, probably. I think he's bottom of A tier. I think Victor is probably better. Maybe not than Paige. This is tough. These two are close. I think Victor, especially now that the gun is a lot better, is pretty strong in mid-elo. You're not going to get punished as hard for, I don't know, just like playing Spirit Victor as you would playing Spirit Victor. I just didn't see Victor a lot when Spirit Victor was the meta. I did play on a Smurf account. Oh, I know, exposed. I played on a Smurf account, and Victor just like runs all the lobbies down there. But in mid-elo, Victor is just a decent pick. Nothing like too amazing, nothing too scary, I think counterable. Vindicta is in B tier. I think she's better than Rem, but worse than Paige, probably. I think that Vindicta has stuff, okay? And you can snowball on Vindicta, and you can carry games easily, but the amount of effort you have to put in to reach that and stay there, I mean, like, you can have 10 kills 15 minutes into the game, and it still feels like the enemy team has, like, counterplay against you. Whereas if I have 10 kills 15 minutes into the game on, like, Venator, Infernus, Mirage, Silver, it's just, like, GG's, man. And I don't think that Vindicta needs to be buffed. I think that she's probably fine. Maybe some quality of life adjustments, maybe something like making flight speed faster, for crying out loud. I think that she is so slow in that flight for what other characters are capable of doing in the air. And I think that would be a great start without like tweaking any of her numbers at all. So yeah. Viscous is in B tier, like the definition of a B tier character. I think probably here. I mean, you just kind of like cube people, but Viscous falls off really hard outside of laning phase. Once your like goo splatter stops doing like a fourth of your lane opponent's HP, becomes a lot less scary. The punch build, you get more value on it in this elo because people will not parry all of them or even most of them. So yeah, Viscous is just kind of here. I think probably weak. All right, Vyper. Yeah, this character's good, man. I think that Vyper requires more skill than most of these other characters. So I'm gonna put her at the bottom of S tier. Do I have too many characters in S tier? Probably. I don't give a rat's behind about that, to be honest with you, because I think that there are more strong characters in mid-elo than there are at the top of the game. You probably have, what, like a top 3 to 5 at the top elos. I think here you've got a lot more characters that are in this area whose weaknesses are a little bit harder to exploit. But yeah, I think Vyper is pretty good, pretty annoying to play against, but not like the most egregious of the characters in S tier to play against, I would say. I would say that Vyper is probably less annoying than basically all of these characters, but still strong. You can definitely carry a match on Vyper if you know what you're doing. Warden. I think Warden's the top of A tier. I think Warden is really strong. I think below Ivy, in my opinion. Below Kelvin, maybe. Yeah, like right there, I think. I think that Warden is very strong, but I think that Warden is just weaker than some of these other gun carry characters at the top, like Venator and Mirage. And I mean, 7 I think is probably better than Warden. I don't think that he has that stuff, but he's still so obnoxious to play against. Getting silenced on maxed upgraded Binding Word is one of the most tilting things in the game, next to like Bebop double hook. So I think he's very strong, very obnoxious. Wraith. Where do I put Wraith? I think Wraith is definitely an A tier. Better than Bebop? Probably not. Better than Abrams? Maybe not. Wraith is like in here. Wraith is really good. You're not going to get as punished. Your counters are not going to be as strong in this elo. You can definitely carry, but I think Wraith just requires a little too much thinking compared to some of these other characters at the top, even though you've obviously got your BS with the ultimate, and we can talk about that in another video. I think that Wraith is probably maybe a little on the strong side, but mostly balanced, and I think that's the way that she should stay. Yamato. Man, I don't know. I think there's too many characters in A tier now. I think we have to move a couple down. Let's put Yamato above Vindicta. I think Yamato in this elo, people just do not get the most out of her. She also falls off really hard later in the game, even though you're very, very, very strong at the early part of the game. I don't think she has the sort of laning pressure that like Apollo has. Apollo has Mystic Slash, but better on his 3, but she's definitely obnoxious to play into, especially if you're playing a character like Vindicta, where she can just kill you. Like, she will just kill you every single time. But I don't think there's much else to say. Ultimate, still very strong, but doesn't scale as well as a lot of these other characters, and I don't think has the same sort of consistency curve that pretty much all the characters above her have. So yeah, we're gonna move on from that. And with that, I think that's everybody. I say as there's no more characters down here, pretending like I would have forgotten somebody. Is this order correct? I'm gonna take a quick look over real quick, and I'm gonna ponder. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna overthink it too hard. There are some characters that people are definitely gonna disagree with me on. I think Paradox is probably one that people can disagree on. I'm sure that some people are gonna disagree with like Geist placement. I just think that like not every character can be broken, but I think in mid-elo there are more characters that are broken. Like I have 10 characters in my S tier here. Vyper obviously being closer to an A tier character than an S tier character. In fact, Vyper can go down to A tier. We'll put Vyper at the top of A tier with Ivy. I think they're pretty similar in what they're capable of doing and their annoyance. That's the one change I'd make. Does Apollo go down to A tier? I think Apollo goes down to A tier as well. We'll put Apollo in between Ivy and Vyper. I think 7 is just always good in mid-elo. The Windbraid is absurd. Silver broken, Venator broken, Mina broken, Infernus dash build broken, Shiv broken, Mirage insanely broken, Dynamo insanely broken. Mostly ordered. There are some characters that are really close. Like I think you can, like these 5 characters are all really close. You can interchange them in any way. I think these 3 characters are pretty close. You can interchange and argue in any way. Really, all these characters down here are kind of the same tier. Victor could maybe even go down. But I think this is what I'd have to say for a mid-elo tier list. What characters annoy me the most are usually the ones at the top. What characters annoy me the least are usually the ones at the bottom. Or annoy me the least often, I should say, because every character is viable in mid-elo, like I said. You can play Holliday, you can play Sinclair, you can play Mcginnis in mid-elo and carry the game. But I just think that they annoy me significantly less often than basically every character above them, and that is how I would look at this tier list, especially, like, which characters annoy me the most. Put Celeste, like, right there. I think A tier is what I would shoot for like, strength that I like. Some characters near the top are maybe a little bit on the stronger end, but, like, I think down here, Celeste might even be a little strong, but I just don't see her a lot right now, and in mid-elo, people don't get as much value on her. So I think this is what we're going to go with. Final thoughts? Yes, this is my final thoughts. Okay, well, I'm sure that everybody is going to agree with this because everybody always agrees with tier rankings whenever anybody makes them. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you sometime soon. Have a good one. Peace.